Hi, it's Tammy. We're back with another video for our Blessings project. And just a little recap. I took a large illustration board and used alcohol ink in black to write on it, "Blessed Beyond Measure." Cut up all the little pieces into 5x5 squares. These here are the next 5 that I'm going to be working on that you see. And what's cool is, people always say that they're afraid of the blank canvas. Well, you already have some incredible dark marks on here that you got to figure out how to work with. So this is what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to talk a little bit about these alcohol inks. There's quite a different number of alcohol inks out on the market now. These are Ranger alcohol inks. There's Pinata inks. You could use Copic marker refill inks. There's even some new ones, Brer Reese. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different ones, and you can find those, and they all, behave differently. So today I'm just going to use these Ranger inks, and I'm going to use a cosmetic sponge. Ranger has a dauber that you could use. This is just a more reasonable tool, I guess, that I'm going to use. So I'm going to start with, these are cooled tiles. So I've already added 3 or 4 coats of wax on these, and they're completely cooled. So what alcohol inks needs to adhere to a surface is it needs to be non-porous. So this is now non-porous because it's a hard wax surface. So I'm going to go ahead and use the solvent alcohol inks, and as I use them, the alcohol will evaporate and the ink kind of sticks to the surface, and then I'll fuse the ink once the alcohol has been evaporated, because we all know alcohol is highly flammable. And then it'll kind of melt and swirl into the wax that's already here, and then it becomes part of it, and I can keep going with more layers of wax. So again, this is just another way to add color. So I'm going to start with a couple inks here. I think I'm going to go with blues for this one, and we'll see how this goes. So these colors that I'm using, this one is Well Loved Stream, this one is Indigo, very deep, and this one is Sailboat Blue. So look, I already have some right over here. That's okay, we'll just mush that in. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my lightest color, which is Sailboat Blue, and I'm going to dot that on. Oh, I'm getting low on Sailboat Blue. There we go. And I think I'm going to go inside these marks. Let's add a little stream to that. And what's nice about the alcohol inks is the colors just kind of blend and react to each other every time you add another color. So there's a pretty bright blue. So now I'm going to add a little bit of this indigo right on top of my applicator, and it's going to react, I think, the blue that's underneath there, and it's going to blend, and I think I even want to go across here. I don't know. Okay, and then when you feel like it's drying up a little, I'm going to add some alcohol, and this is just 91% isopropyl alcohol that I get at Walmart. I'm sure you could get it at Walgreens or any pharmacy. Oops. And so I'm just going to dip that right here on the end of my sponge, and it will react with the colors that are already here and kind of mix them and blend them. It's kind of cool. I'm also going to kind of dot right up at the top a little bit just to kind of frame the piece. And I got some on the next one, that's okay. And another thing, if I want a little more texture in it, I might even add a little bit of alcohol that's in this spray bottle. This is just an old, I don't know, hair spray bottle that I have. But the alcohol reacts with the alcohol inks and creates all those little fun bubbles and that kind of stuff. So now on this one, I'm going to try and do maybe a darker brownish orange piece. So this time I'm also going to use Ranger alcohol inks, and this is Espresso. And this one is Sunset Orange. That cap is on really tight. There we go. And Caramel. And Caramel has a lot of greens in it too. So this could get, you know what, I'm not gonna use my dauber for this one. If I were going to use it, I would definitely get a new one or cut the edge of that off. But I'm just gonna kind of dot this around, fill this area, fill it with some orange. And alcohol inks are transparent. If you can see on this one, you can still see those black lines. So I'm going to spray that, and I'm just going to use my straw to kind of blow and mix those colors. Let's see if we can. Now, all of the companies have blending solutions. That kind of go with their colors, and those are good to use too, but please do not put those in a spray bottle. You should not have those airborne. I think they have chemicals in them that does not help your breathing. So I'm gonna add some of this blue around the edges. And as it mixes with the orange, it'll turn a little neutral or brown. That's okay. I'll put some down here too. All right, so I have some color down now. And now we're just gonna blot it to get rid of that excess alcohol a little faster. I am going to give this a minute to cool. I should probably be wearing gloves. Alcohol ink does kind of stain your fingers for a couple days, but it will wear off. You can try and rub it off with like a hand sanitizer, which also has alcohol in it. I don't think I have mine handy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move these alcohol inks out of the way. close them up because I'm going to torch this. And if you're not good with a torch, by all means don't use it. You can use a heat gun, you can use lots of other things. I like using the torch. I feel pretty comfortable with it, but I do have an open window, a fan going, and a fire detector nearby. So we're going to start over here. And remember, when you torch, you really just have to heat it until it glistens. So right there, see how it's cracking? That's because I'm over fusing it. Remember I mentioned to you that I do like to over fuse. There we go. So that looks kind of cool. Let's see what we're going to get out of this one. And every color behaves differently. These almost look like fall leaves coming out here over a blue sky. Excellent. Okay, good. I'm happy with that. So we're going to go ahead and set these aside and start on the next ones that I have up here. Hi, I'm back. So now I'm going to take these three pieces and I'm going to actually put a white coating of wax on top of them. So this is going to obliterate some of the lines, but I chose some that didn't have many lines. And I'm hoping I can overfuse some of the areas, like right here, so I can bring that mark back. So for white and sometimes black, I'll go ahead and put my colors in a pot and melt them on my griddle, just so it's easier to get better coverage with the white. Sorry, it's hard to talk and do this at the same time. So I think I'm just going to do one coat on these, and then when I fuse them, I'm hoping that it's going to split and get kind of a lacy-like effect. So, oops, I just dripped in my clear medium. That's probably not good. I'll have to fix that. It's okay. Okay. So there's a white kind of background. I'm going to go ahead and fuse that. And as I fuse, I am looking to smooth out the surface, to pop any air bubbles that come up. And you want to keep moving. You don't want to get too close. I like to make little circles. And so I've got a little bit of lacing going on right there in the center. I'm sure there's a very good scientific explanation for that, but I don't know what that is. Let's move this out of the way. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I want a white background. I'm going to try and do some floral pieces on these. I like to make alcohol ink flowers on paper and give them away as cards. So I just wanted to do that technique on the white, and it seems to come out better when you have a whiter surface behind the inks. So as my flame here is getting a little low, I can tell it's taking me a little longer and I'm getting a little closer to the surface. And I fill this torch with a butane, so it's not a big deal to refill it. But I do like to use it all. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to let those cool for a second. And then we're going to work with our alcohol ink colors. So I pulled out a Pinata color just so you can see it. So this one is Pinata Passion Purple. So we're going to use that one today. And I mentioned that sometimes the caps get stuck. You should really clean your caps. I haven't done that, as you can tell, but if you just clean it and rub it with alcohol, it won't get stuck. And then this is the Copic various ink marker refills I talked about. This color is just a warm gray, so I might just use that if I need to darken anything up. Because the other colors I picked out today are Ranger, Pink Sherbet, and I have a little bit left of this. I think this one's citrus. It's got ink all over it. So, okay, so I'm going to let these cool a minute, and I think we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and these are all cooled. So I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to add just a drop of the Pinata's Passion Purple. Now that color, every color is different. You really have to get used to them. That color does not have a lot of alcohol in it. As you can see, I'm not doing anything to it. It just sits right there. It barely moves. Now, by extreme contrast, this Pink Sherbet from Ranger, it has a lot of alcohol in it. It's a very pale color. No, it's not moving there. It must be mixing with that purple pretty good. So I'm going to use a straw right now, and you could use an air compressor, you could use dust off air that you buy at Walmart to clean your dust off your keypad. You know, you could use a turkey baster that you squeeze. You could do anything, but a lot of people have a straw, so I'm going to use a straw. After I blow this out, I'm also going to use a paintbrush dipped into some alcohol. Now, the alcohol does dry out the bristles on your brush, so this is a dedicated alcohol ink paintbrush. So what I first want to do is I just kind of want to dry that ink. Okay, so that's pretty good. So now I'm going to use my paintbrush and just dip it in and drip a little bit of alcohol and blow it out. And I'm going to just keep going around. I'm going to kind of direct it. And what I like about it is it gives a very organic look. So this isn't a flower that you can name. It's an abstract flower. I don't know if I'm going to go all the way around. So I'm just going to keep going, and I dip this into the dark part of the alcohol and blow it out until I like what I see. Okay, so right there I kind of like that. And then I'm going to take this green and just draw a little stem in. Now he got a little too much, so I got to blow that. I can't talk and blow at the same time, but okay, so I like that stem, but my green kind of went into my purple a little bit. Green and purple. I'm not sure what color that's going to come out like. But you never know with alcohol inks. It doesn't always mean it's going to be brown. So I'm going to just try and blend that out. There. A couple different directions it could go. Okay, so now I need to let that dry before I can hit it with the heat gun. Okay, and when I hit it with the heat gun, it'll change again. So, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So I'm going to move this one out of the way and bring this one in. We'll see if I can get a different kind of flower with this one. So with this one, I think I'm going to try this orange and pink. And I'm going to put that more in the middle, and I'm going to try and go all the way around. Now when you start with the middle, you want it to dry a little bit and evaporate some of that alcohol, otherwise it'll just go all over the place and you won't be able to control it. Now I have these dots off to the side, and I could get a cotton swab and dip it in the alcohol and erase that, but I like to kind of keep the dots and see where it goes and see what happens. Usually there's something that happens that I can incorporate the dots into the flower or act like that's part of the stamen or something. So. Okay, I'm going to finish letting that dry because my dog is outside, Mocha, and he wants to be let in. So hold on 1 second. Here's Mocha. Say hi. Mocha's back inside. Okay, back to art. So this is fairly dry. So I'm going to go ahead and put a nice big drip of alcohol, and I'm going to kind of direct it the direction I want it to go. And again, I'm going to blow that direction. right, so for this one, I can already see that these colors I chose were not as dark as those colors, and that's okay. I'm going to add a little bit of this warm gray right to the center and see what we can do with adding a little depth. I think I'm going to add another little bit of pink on top of that. So now my center is still not dark enough. I'm going to add just a little bit of that purple. And I'm going to really let that dry, and I think that might be all I do for that one. So I'll move that over with this one. So what's nice is because the alcohol inks are mostly translucent, you can layer them as many times as you want. So I can even let that dry and decide, hey, I wanted that to be a little more orange, and add some more orange, and it'll change the entire composition of it. Okay, so let me try and do a different one on this one. Let's do some blue. Let's do the stream. Put it up at the top. And let's try a little sailboat blue. That one's almost gone. Okay, let's let that dry. So I wanted kind of a rounded top, so I was really just directing that alcohol ink to go where I want it to go. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to actually turn this upside down, and I want all my petals to kind of go this way. There we go. Love that. So what's also nice is I got a few little tendrils sticking out here. I don't know if I really want those there, so I'm going to just add a little alcohol and blow it away. Now these two that are sticking out here, I kind of like those, so I think I'm going to leave those. I might add a little bit more in this area. So I like it, but I think it's a little blue. So I'm going to add a little bit of this pink. Oops, too much. Okay, that's okay. I had to blow it fast because I dripped a little too much. So let's do one more down the middle. There, that'll do it. So now I lost my center. Let's get rid of these. I don't think I like these either. So now I want to add back a little bit of that stream in the center. Because remember I said you can just keep layering these. Gotta wait. I thought maybe I could just get it to spread how I wanted it to, but no, I can't. And really, you just keep going until you like what you have. I love that kind of purple look that's coming with the blending. And I think I like that. Oops, right there. So that's a really full flower. That's just kind of flowing down. So I do like that. And that one needs to dry. And as that one dries, I'm going to come back to this one that's dry. But I've got kind of a jagged edge. I'm going to try and take care of that jagged edge by just dripping a little. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so now I like that one too. So I'm going to leave that one just like that. So now that these are dry, or drying, I can go ahead and hit it with my heat gun. I'm going to get rid of my alcohol ink and put it off to the side with everything sealed. Safety first. And let me get this Copic refill. over there. Okay, so this one is still drying, so let's leave, let's leave that. I'm going to start with this one. Now I'm going to torch this one, so the only thing I don't really want to change maybe is the stem. But I'm still going to torch it where it might get a little skinnier, and that's good with me. But I'm going to start with just lightly hitting the colors here. And as it melts into the wax, it just kind of breaks up a little. Sometimes it gives it that lacy effect or a crackle. Look at that crackle that just came up there. Okay, so I only want that really in the flower. So I'm just going to lightly go over the base of the stem here. And see how I mean that it kind of shrunk? And I'm good with that. I like that. Okay, now let's shoot this one. So this one is a really full flower. So if I get this one a little lacy, I'm good with that too. There goes the crackle. Like that. Now my flame is really low at this point, so I'm really close to my project. So it's good if you ever start with encaustic that you really experiment so you know, because a different size flame will give you different results. There, I'm just gonna, I'd like this to crack up a little. There we go. Maybe that too. Okay, that looks good. And actually this top one, I think I like it exactly as it is. So I don't think I'm gonna do anything to that. The center is still a little damp. So I'm just gonna have to touch it with the heat gun once it cools and dries off and all that alcohol evaporates. So there you have it. 3 different types of flowers that are done with encaustic on illustration board. And these I don't really need to do a top coat, but you can if you want to. What's kind of neat is if you do the encaustic medium as a top coat, it kind of gives it a little bit of a hazy look to it because of the beeswax. And if that's the look you're after, then by all means, go ahead and do another top coat right on top of this. But I'm thinking I'm going to leave these just as is. So thanks for joining me today. And if you'd like to see more of my work, visit my website at tammyhayman.com. Bye.